people recognize us because of the podcast, people that I don't even know. And particularly when I was at like smart meetings, people were like, "Oh yes, I recognize you from the podcast with Mandi." Like
Yeah.
many people said that. You can count them on more than two hands. And like when you go to IMEX and WEC, people I don't even know, like, "Oh yeah, I recognize you from the podcast with Mandi." Like that is very very noticeable, and that's cool. We're live. We're
Hi.
recording live. We're here.
We're here. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Welcome to our anniversary, first of many anniversary episodes. I'm looking. It looks good here. We're looking good here. Yeah. On the YouTube and the LinkedIn. I'll double check LinkedIn in a moment.
Awesome.
Uh,
Amani. So what Amani's doing, everybody, is we have switched platforms. For the last 4 years, we've been on the same platform. And then the last 2 months, we switched platforms. And we've recorded on this platform, but we haven't done a live show yet on this platform. So you are building with us. We're building in public, as my friend Sean Wolchef has taught us to do. We are figuring this all out. New platform, live. Like, how is this gonna look? How's it gonna go? So, are we
yeah.
live, Amani? Okay,
Okay.
good.
So
That's
it's
great.
looking good. Hold on. Let's watch here.
If you're watching, drop a hello in the chat. Drop a hello in the chat. Let us know if we're looking good. We look good,
Yeah.
feel good.
Okay. We're looking good and we're feeling good. All right. So that's good there. Okay. I'm going to, oh, we got a new chat. See, we're looking. So now we have a little message that pops up on, there we go, Restream. And then we have Riverside. Okay. So I'm going to close my
Fun.
window here. Better sound.
I see it. Oh, I see all the people here too. How fun. Hi, everybody. It's
Like,
great.
where are you seeing the people?
Well, I see the people that RSVP'd. I see the
Yes,
people.
yes. Okay, good,
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
drop a comment. Drop a comment in the chat. Let us know you're live and kicking, everybody. So,
What's the first
Amani.
question? Yes,
Well,
go for
wait,
it.
but listen, you got to take me on a date before you take me to the bedroom, Amani. Jeez Louise, God.
Don't make me blush.
You got somewhere to be? You got to go potty? Like, why
No,
are you in such a rush?
I don't have to go potty. Good question. But I do, I'm so excited to hear these questions. So,
Well, I think we should first explain this is our 4 year anniversary show. And we started 4 years ago in July. And Amani, I'm just going to flip the script on you. Why did we start this show 4 years ago? How did this show come to be?
well, Amy says we're looking good. Thank you, Amy, for commenting. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Amy.
Okay, the
Hi.
question was why did we started the show because we had such a good time with our initial show when we were doing it for WeCon. And we said, "Ooh, we should do a show together. It can help us learn. We can kind of reach out and become better thought leaders in the industry. We can have more intimate networking." That's my answer. What's your answer?
Samesies, samesies. We wanted to continue to work together, and we wanted to start a
Yes.
podcast. We had no idea it would evolve the way it's evolved, and I think it's been. And we've interviewed almost 400 CEOs, thought leaders, and founders in the last
Yeah.
4 years. And I don't know about you, but it's my favorite part of the week. Like, I feel
Oh,
so smart talking to these people, and I love being able to interact with you. I mean, we interact way more than once a week, but I love being able to do this. It truly is like my favorite part of the week. So as a part of the
oh,
celebration, and so we could test our live stream. So our guest on Monday, who we're doing live with, so she's not the first time we're doing it.
yeah.
We said, let's
Yeah.
do and ask us anything to celebrate it. So today, drop your questions in the chat and literally ask us anything. People have sent us some questions. I've got a bunch of questions people sent, so I'll shout it out and ask the question. But before we get to everybody else's questions, I just have a couple questions for you, Amani. Like, for this past year that we've been doing the show, what has your experience been? Like, what do you think your most memorable guest has been?
Ooh, I have a soft spot for Jenny Perrin.
Oh, we all do. We all love
Yes.
Jenny Perrin. Yeah.
So she comes to mind right away just because of how she is. She's been a guest co-host. She shared a lot of stuff about nutrition that I still follow to this day. And so I can't wait to meet her in person. So that would be one right there.
Oh.
Um, I think another episode we had, Melissa Majors, was good.
Hmm.
Just because of the conversation we had that got to be really personal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She
So
asked you about your dating life.
yes, but I also
Yeah.
had to thank her for helping me with a previous, experience, which reminds me, we've been through three renovations, two moves. I say three moves because you moved to the satellite location, then back home,
Yes.
one breakup,
Oh,
one
yeah.
we've been
One
through a lot of
breakup.
like personal we've been 4 years, we went through like a lot of personal things.
I
Like I
had the
think
family tragedy last year.
yes,
I had my nephew
yes,
passing. We had a lot. Yeah, we
yeah.
had a lot. Yeah, we've gone through it together, like privately, but then also on air too, which I'm proud of us because I think people kind of hide that stuff, but
Yeah,
we just kind of kept it really open. Yeah, you're right. We really, really have. What
yeah.
we made a lot of changes in this past year, like since July of. Remember last year for our anniversary show, you were interviewing me at my mom and dad's house,
Hmm.
in their basement
Yes.
last year. So from July of last year to this year, we've been through a lot of changes personally, professionally, just the podcast. Like, what's a change that we've made with the podcast that you really like?
Ooh. I think we were more intentional about the guests that we had on the show. We were particularly
Mm-hmm.
intentional. We added our commercials. I really like that. I really like that we added our commercials. That was really
Mm-hmm.
good.
That was your idea, you
That
smarty
was
pants.
yeah, that was a good idea. The minis. Remember, we didn't do minis at first. We
Oh
didn't do
yeah,
minis at
yeah.
first,
Yes,
and
Aunt
so
Jean. Shout out Aunt Jean. Aunt Jean.
yes,
Wait, yeah,
yes.
told
So
us
the
to.
minis I like, especially I'm biased, but I love it when we do the coaching sessions with you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
biased, but that's one of the things I love.
Oh, thank you.
Um, what else? Also, to go back, because I have thinking of so many things. We went through the whole book writing process and release, and then I got the USA Today bestseller list. Like that was like live in front of everyone. We went through with all that. That was cool.
Remember when you wanted to change your title and like totally
Yes,
switch gears? That was
yes,
stressful for me. I was like, I don't
yes.
know. I remember pacing in the backyard talking about that.
Don't pace. I didn't know that. Yeah.
I was like,
So
how am I going to tell him this is not a
yeah,
good idea?
yeah, yeah.
But
But I
other
think
people
that
told you the same thing, which was great.
yes, yes, exactly. Thank you. Because that's right. Because we had Julie Broad on, and she was
Hmm.
like talking about it. Oh, so many things. So okay, so I got distracted, but like those are the changes. We tried the different platforms. Now we're trying Riverside. That's a pretty big change.
Hmm.
What
We
about
had
you?
some great sponsors in this past year.
Yes.
We started taking new sponsors last year. I think our sponsor offering is better than ever. If anybody out there wants to sponsor, we just had one sponsor get a huge, almost $500,000 deal from
Yeah.
investing a
Yeah.
fraction of that and sponsoring a show. So that,
Yeah.
I love it when we can you know, lift up guests or lift up the audience, and I think that's awesome, and that happened. I think my favorite guest of this past year was Megan Riley.
Oh yeah.
She, I mean, that interview was great. She pumped me up. And then at the beginning of the interview, when she told us that she said no to the basketball team that brought her back because she didn't think she was good enough. And then that team ended up making it to the finals, but not winning. And at the very end, when you said if you were on the team, they would have won. Like, I just got chills again saying that. I cried then. I cried when I listened to it. That was a really great interview. Megan Riley with Jesse Itzler's company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was stellar. I love,
Yeah.
what an honor to have her on the show, and that was,
Yeah.
I got real fired up from that interview. It was
Good.
great.
Good call. Good call.
Good.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, so many changes, and I'm more thinking about how we grew as a part of it. So we've become like much better interviewers. We just you'll never if you when you interview someone, they're like, "Oh, I've never been asked that before," or "Oh, like not that that's a good question," because many people say that all the time, but like, "Oh, no one's really asked me that before." That's a good sign, and I find that more and more as we get into more and more interviews, more people are saying no one's really asked me that before. That's a great sign.
I agree. When somebody says that you did your research or
Oh
you
yeah.
go deep, I love that.
Yeah.
Although I will say my Aunt Dina, she's a retired attorney, gave me a hot tip last year in interviewing. She said, use 5 words to ask a question and you'll get a ton of answers back. When the less words you use when you ask the question, the
Yes.
more of a response you get. So I'm wordy, as you know, I'm long winded. So that is a lot of work for me to like put into practice. So I've been working hard at trying to like make my
Good.
questions more
It,
shorter and more succinct. Yeah.
it's working. It's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, we talked about this early on. Most podcasts last 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Most podcasts last 7 episodes. So if you get to
Yeah.
episode 21, you're good. And we're over what, two? How many hundred? Two, 300?
We're in the 300s.
300s.
I
Yeah.
don't know what number, but like in the upper
Yeah.
300s to middle 300s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been through a couple different like service providers that are helping us, yet we
Yeah.
still have remained consistent throughout despite the change.
Yeah. We've gone through what businesses go through. You
Yes.
change vendors, you change services, you have your ups, you have your downs. We've fallen out in the middle of the show. We've done remote locations, like we're in
Mhm.
hotel rooms, we're in other countries, like we've done it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we've stayed consistent with the show once a week, which I'm really proud. This is
Mhm.
very hard with our schedules
Remember when
to
we
keep
first
it
started, you were
consistent.
like, I don't think I can do two twice a month. You were like, there's no way I can do every week.
I know, I know, I know, I know. You really push me. Amani, between that and making me do my bingo cards, you're really pushing me. I really
I like
appreciate
it.
it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I really
Yes. My
appreciate it.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Well, what else? Do we want to get to the questions or
Let's
you
get
have
to some
more?
questions submitted
And then
by the, yeah.
you can mix in some of your others as they come and I'll do the same.
Okay. Do we have any questions in your chat over there? I can't see what you see on
No,
YouTube
no,
or
not yet.
LinkedIn.
Oh, let
Okay.
me say, no, I'm on Facebook. Nothing yet. Nothing yet on the, let's go to the chat here on the YouTube or the LinkedIn side. Nope, we're good.
Okay. I've got some questions that were submitted to me prior to the show. So this one's from Loretta Allen, who we love and adore. Give a shout out to Texas. She sent me a question earlier today. She said, what impact has the podcast had on you in the sense of what doors have opened that you wouldn't have experienced if you didn't have a podcast?
Hmm. I think the best example would be when we were at IMAX together last year and we would walk around the floor briefly. Because remember, we did a brief walk around the
Yeah,
floor
20 minute.
and people were like, oh, it's you two from the podcast, from the podcast. And I think and then really think that the work I did with Smart Meetings, the podcast was a good part of that because she saw me on that and they wanted to kind of talk. And then we had her on as well.
Yeah, JT. She's
JT, we had JT
great.
on.
Yeah.
And then there was another example just with Taylor, the relationship that we developed with Taylor Smith from Smart Meetings.
Meetings
Meetings
today.
today, excuse me, meetings today.
Amani, shame on you. You were on the cover
Yes.
of that magazine.
That's what that led
They
to, like
should
help to lead the
revoke it.
cover. It's right there. It's on my wall right over here. I should show you. But yes, so yes, we love Tay Tay. So those would be two that come to mind right away, or three that come to mind right away. What about for you?
I mean, I look at this as twofold, right? Like from a vendor relationship standpoint, like I try and give business to our guests. Like we get them on the show and then we're learning about them. I'm like, oh, I've got a client for you or I want to work with you. And so from Jenny Perrin to like being my health coach to Nick Hutchinson, who's going to do some social media stuff for me for my new book to like,
Yeah.
I've actually talked, to some of the guests and gotten great new vendors that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise because I
Right.
don't know anything about them. You spend an hour with somebody, you learn literally all about their business.
Mhm.
And it's such a good use of time because you don't normally have that time at a networking event to like understand how somebody runs their business. So I think that's been awesome. But then I also feel like this is truly a masterclass. Like
Mhm.
I feel like when we are the doors that are opening for me is that I'm learning about so many different industries at such a granular level. It's making me a better business person. Like it's making me negotiate contracts better. It's making me have like more service minded conversations with my customers. it's also from a coaching standpoint making me be a better sales coach because I understand like the breadth of how these different industries work just from learning from these guys.
Right.
So those like those doors don't open. Like I can't read about like 17 different industries
Yeah.
every week, but like if I dedicate an hour a week and I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning about that industry and now I can go out and solicit that industry and be their sales coach because I know a little bit more than I did the day before. Like that's just a huge door that's opening.
Agreed.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Jenny Perrin sent us a question. Your
What's up,
girlfriend,
Jenny?
Jenny.
Yes.
Jenny.
Yes.
She wants to know what your favorite travel hack is.
Ooh. Okay. Mandy taught me this. Mandy taught me three things. Here. That's you, by the way.
Oh, me, Mandy.
um. Wear the same thing on the plane out that you wear on the plane out in terms of like a hoodie or whatever, like that. Save that space in the luggage. Do your best to have everything carry on so you don't have to worry about checking luggage and getting it lost. Um, Another thing, it's a travel hack because usually when I travel, it's for work. Is like don't wait for the reception to eat. Eat before the reception so that you're not trying to, because usually receptions don't really have like the most balanced meal there for you. That's a big one that I'm really trying to apply. Was there another one? I think that was it. It was. I really love when you talked about where you wear the same thing out that you wear coming. I apply that like immediately because I always
Oh,
rock a hoodie and everything. What else? Those are my favorite three travel hacks right off the bat.
I love that. I love that. Well, to Jenny, shout out Jenny. We
Yeah.
gave you a
Yes.
travel hack. Okay, mine are. I'm gonna go healthy since Jenny's our healthy coach. So, travel hack is I never miss a workout on arrival day. So let's say I fly on Monday and the first day of the meeting is on Tuesday. I always work out on Tuesday. Like I do not miss that first because if I make that first workout, then Monday night I go to bed at a reasonable hour and I don't drink or overdrink or overeat or just do anything stupid that would prevent me from getting up the next morning to work out. And then after working out, I feel so good. I want to keep feeling good for the rest of the day. So then I'm like monitoring how I'm behaving the rest of the day and night. And I still drink and have fun and network and all the stuff, but it's just a lot more like handled. It's a lot
Yeah.
more orderly when never miss that first workout. So that's one health travel hack. And then I try and remember that my lifestyle travels with me. So just because I'm on the road doesn't mean I don't bring my tennis shoes. Like if I'm going to work out at home, I'm going to work out on the road. If it's an arms day on Tuesday at home, it's an arms day at Tuesday on the road. Like my lifestyle travels with me. And in fact, I have a dry erase marker that when I go in the hotel room, I write it on the mirror. My lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
travels with me. Or sometimes I'll write like something there that like I need to remember about being healthy is just as like a visual.
Mm-hmm.
That was a second travel hack. And I think the third one is snacks. Bring your chomps and your nuts and your like bring your travel snacks with you just in case you get delayed or in case things get weird and you get super hungry and then you make a bad decision because you're super hungry and then you're tired and then you have heartburn and then it all goes off the rails
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's another one. Like I'll try to bring a protein bar with me. Um, we need to do another travel hack show. I think
Yeah.
that we should do another one, maybe a mini or extended mini, because that, or maybe we can get someone who's a good travel person. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. If you know of a good travel person, let us know. Drop it in the chat. Let us know.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up, everybody? It's Amani coming to you. I want to share with you information about my new group coaching program. If you are a 9 to 5 creative, meaning you work a 9 to 5, but you also have some artwork that you want to monetize and get out there, you could be a musician, an author, a painter, whatever. You're a 9 to 5 creative and you want to monetize your artwork, come and talk to me. You can go to amaniexperience.com/call, fill out the form. I'd love to talk to you about some in-person or virtual group coaching. Thank you very much. I'll see you all soon.
What do we do? Have any questions? Do we have any live
Nothing in
questions
the
or not?
chat. I have a personal question though. So
Oh, let's hear it.
for you, what can, based on what you've learned and experienced in the podcast, what can you do now that you couldn't do a year ago?
Oh. Hmm. What can I do now?
That you couldn't do, let's say, before we started the podcast? We'll extend
Okay.
the time period.
Okay. I will say this because I do virtual coaching and I do live coaching. I am much more comfortable in any sort of live situation now. Where before, like I'm always comfortable on a stage. Like that's just I'm wired that way. But
Mhm.
like there's still an element of like what happens if the technology messes up? What happens if I lose my voice? What happened? I don't have that level of worry anymore because I'm like, the technology might mess up. Like I
Mhm.
might trip and fall. I might say something stupid. Like I have a chance in the next sentence to say something better. So, because we're so live and we're just truly figuring this out along the way, I'm not as nervous in any live situation anymore. I just roll with it and I feel totally comfortable. And I feel comfortable as a podcast guest as well. What
Yeah.
about you? Well, how are
Yes.
what's changed for you over the last like 4 years that the podcast has given you in terms of anything?
Yeah. Um, like it's still a work in progress, but the whole sales mindset, because we always ask questions or we'll talk about like sales, and that's always business development is always a not a challenge, but an opportunity, especially when you're an entrepreneur and
Hmm.
you have excellent mindset perspectives and strategies that personally feel we should dig into and share more of because they're really, really good. And I've been around some like high class, high performing salespeople. So I feel I'm a good judge. So that would be one.
Thank you, Amani.
Number
I like
two,
being judged by
absolutely.
you.
Yeah. No judging, no judging, but yes.
I like you're a good
Uh,
judge.
Number two, just like you're very consistent and you're like you're very organized and consistent in the systems you have. Like my systems are definitely not as strong as yours. So that would be number two, particularly behind the scenes. And then I remember when you hire your chief of staff, like you're not afraid to hire people and absorb the costs in the short term for long term gain. And I really admire that because, as a creative, we get scared about investing in our businesses because we want to get the ROI right away. But you had the foresight, and is it Sandy? You had the foresight to hire
Sandy. Yeah.
Sandy in advance because you could see where your business was going. And sure enough, she paid for herself in more ways than one. So that's what that's how I would say what I've learned. Yeah.
I love that. How has that mindset helped you with your coaching clients? Because you're coaching 9 to 5ers who have a creative endeavor, and I'm sure that conversation comes up, right? Like they don't want to invest in this creative endeavor because it may take away from the regular money. Like how does that like mindset work in your coaching practice?
I would say like currently it's a work in progress because I am in a little bit of a lull and don't really have as many coaching clients as I would like. But what really resonated was just how you have to continue to send the emails and make the calls, and it will happen. Because when you get in a lull, you're like, oh my gosh, am I gonna find anyone? But your
Mhm.
mindset and your thoughts of the mindset were refreshing because you can get inside your own head. And so that's what comes to mind immediately.
Yeah, yeah, we got to get out of our own way. We're all in our own. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. We're all in our
Yeah.
own way. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just need a buddy. We need a
Yeah.
buddy to kick us out.
Shout out to Dean, who's in the chat with us. Good to see you. Drop a question if you have one, Dean, for our 4 year anniversary. Ask us anything.
Hi, Dean. Thanks for being here. I love Dean. Dean's been with us from the start.
Yes. An
Love
OG, we
Dean.
would call him an OG.
Dean's an OG. Yeah, Dean, drop a question if you dare. We want to hear. Okay, I have a question submitted here from Shannon Norris. She said, "What has surprised you the most about this podcast?"
Hmm. I mean, I'm go back to people recognize me, us, because of the podcast. People that I don't even know, and particularly when I was at like smart meetings, people were like, "Oh yes, I recognize you from the podcast with Mandi." Like
Yeah.
many, many people said that you can count them on more than two hands. And like when you go to IMAX and WEC, people I don't even know, like, "Oh yeah, I recognize you from the podcast with Mandi." Like that is very, very noticeable, and that's cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that surprised me the most is that we're still doing it. Like, I mean, not that I didn't want to do it, but sometimes these things are like a phase.
Hmm.
Like we're still doing it, we're still recreating it. Like I feel like every 6 months or so, we're tweaking it, we're recreating it, we're adding. Like we just added the flip the script
Yeah.
segment. We added a new channel we added a new playlist on YouTube. Like I like that we're continually growing, but I'm quite honestly surprised. I thought it would fizzle out. Not that I'd want it to, but like these things just fizzle
I
out
hear you.
sometimes,
Yes, I hear you.
Now I'm like, I hope we do it forever. I hope we do it forever. Yeah. Okay. We have a question about AI from Julie Fry, longtime listener. We love Julie
Yes.
Fry.
Yes. Julie listens to us on her car rides and references them when we were on the committee for WeCon. So yes, shout out to Julie. Thank you.
And we're with
Congrats.
her. Like there's
Yes.
sometimes we'll run into Julie at an event and she's like, you were just with me on my
Yes.
ride. It's
Yes.
so
Yes.
fun.
Yes. We love that. We love
Yeah,
that.
we love that. She says, as AI takes over more tasks like writing emails, generating content, automating research or outreach, what human skill do you think will become the greatest competitive advantage?
The skill, the ability to have a conversation, an in-person conversation that's authentic. I think the
Mm-hmm.
more people automate their emails, their responses, they get, people caught up in the drip campaigns, the ability to have an in-person authentic conversation and remember specific details that you can refer back to, I think that's going to set people apart because it's so AI and so formulaic now. Like, the ability for us to talk and I remember, okay, well, you were in Ohio a couple of weeks ago and how does it feel now that you're maybe a little bit more than almost a year into your renovation? Like those are certain things that you can continue to pull up that I think will set people apart.
I agree. I agree. I also think empathy. I think these AI bots are awesome. And I do think they have an ability to empathize based on the input that you give it. But it's only as good as the input you give it. It's garbage in, garbage out. And when you see somebody in person or you talk to them on the phone or we're looking at each other face to face, you can see the inflection
Yeah.
and we can really understand you can tell if somebody's having a bad day based on their posture or their eyebrows or their facial expression.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think the human skill that won't be able to be replaced is empathy. And it's something I believe, especially in business, we need to practice more of. And
Yeah.
that's a superpower when that's put into place, especially by leaders.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good question, Julie. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. You want me to? I got one from Dean.
Dean, let's hear it.
Okay. Dean says, given, I'm assuming what we've been through, we've been through many things since we began this podcast because we kind of started the end of COVID, etc. How important have you found reframing? We're not just in an industry, but more of a community.
I mean, I think that's extremely important. I think the quicker we can realize that everything is community based and success really comes from community and not just being in the community, but actually giving to the community and having like an interest in lifting the community up. I think that's everything. And yeah, you can be in an industry, but what does that even mean? Being in a community, contributing to a community, and collaborating in a community. I think that's everything. I think it's everything.
I agree. Yeah, I think especially when I'm coaching or teaching about the music business, it's about community now so more than ever because when you have like AI infiltrating and you have all these AI artists on the charts and people don't know who they're listening to, but when they can come to and join a community where they know it's a real artist, a real person that kind of comes on and shares things and is visible, I think that's what takes artists from just normal to, new heights.
Yeah, I agree. Community is everything. Dean, that's a great question. And you
Thank
know
you.
what, Dean, I appreciate. I don't know if I have thought about it in this way before of like being in an industry versus being in a community. I think that's something to really chew on
Mm-hmm.
because you're implanted in an industry based on whatever your business is, right? But you can make a choice to participate in a community or not. And I appreciate the difference there. Dean, that's really great. That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's good. Somebody asked Carla Calloway. She asked, when does Mandi sleep?
Never.
So this just in, I am a great sleeper. I sleep all the time. I go to bed at 8:30. I get up at 4:30, sometimes 5:15 most days. I sleep a lot. I love to sleep. I've always been, I will sometimes be at social places with friends or family and I will be sleeping like at the table while they're talking. Like I have no problem sleeping, but people don't think I sleep because I'm a good email scheduler. I schedule my texts and emails. So, like, if I have an idea rolling around in my head at like 8 o'clock at night, I'll send it, but I'll do the send later. So people will get it like first thing in the morning and they'll be like, oh, Mandy's been up for hours, but I haven't. It's a trick. It's a
Good.
trick. I just am a
Okay.
good email and text scheduler. Yeah. But
Love it.
I'm a firm believer in sleep. I got a whole sleep routine.
Good. Okay. Next question would be if there's one thing that you want to add to the podcast in the next year, what is that and why?
That's funny because Shannon Norris submitted the same question.
Great minds, Shannon.
That's a
Great
great
minds.
mind. Yeah, she said, what do you oh no, I take it back. It wasn't Shannon Norris. Angela Aguilar said, what do you want to see from the podcast for the next 4 years? I desperately want to do a live show.
Okay.
I have this vision of us being maybe at the rooftop at Margaritaville under the dome or being in a theater or just doing a live show where we open up, maybe you're DJing or maybe we have like a local artist doing something rad on stage, like maybe one of your coaching clients, like a creative person, maybe it's Stuart Meyer doing some sort of like composing and art all at the same time. Like open up with some sort of creative endeavor.
Mhm.
Then we sit down, you and I kibitz for a couple minutes, and then we bring on a local business leader, like a surprise guest. And then we've got an audience of people and they pay to be there, but they also are giving the bar or restaurant or whatever some revenue. Like they're buying a drink, they're having some food. Like I like it when all the business flows, right? Like where
Mhm.
we're promoting a business, we're giving a restaurant or a hotel business, we're getting business. It's all like flowing between everything. And that energy of live, I think is everything. So I would really like to do that in the next year. If you know, I know the next 4 years, but the next year for sure. And then more sponsorships. I think this is, the numbers. We know the numbers on podcasting. Like marketing dollars have to get shifted towards podcasting because this is long form content and
Mhm.
it's so beneficial for people's names to be said or people to be seen. And you're a part of something new and exciting. Like you're gonna get some looky loos in there. You're gonna get some people that buy things. So I want to do more sponsorships. What about
Nice.
you? What do you want from the podcast in the next 4 years?
So I would say I'll echo your thoughts on sponsorship. Like get like a title sponsor or like someone who's like, just going to sponsor like the entire show for like years. We sign a 1 or 2 year agreement. That's high on the list. And then I want us to tick off some of our bucket list interview guests that we have, like the big, big, big people, like Jesse Isler. Although I feel we're getting closer to
We're
him.
close. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
close.
and his
Kendra
wife
Scott.
actually.
Kendra Scott.
Yeah, yeah, his wife.
Babyface. Babyface.
Yeah, it's Babyface. Exactly. That's what I mean. Like so some of the really, really, really big, like big guests to get them on the show. That's another thing that's a goal for the next year.
Okay, I love that. I've got a question here. Another question from Julie Fry.
And Julie, she's here. She says she loves the love show idea. She just commented. So we see you, Julie.
Julie, let's do it. Let's figure it out. Let's make it happen. I love
Yeah.
that. It's great. Even if the live show, even if the tickets are a donation, like buy the tickets and the tickets go towards the California Hotel Lodging Association Hospitality Fund, like how do we make it all flow is how
Yes.
I love that. Okay. Hi, friends. Guess what? Did you know that when you click subscribe, you just hit it? It's such a fast little tip. Tap, tap, tap. You hit subscribe for our podcast, either on YouTube or on the platform that you're listening on. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. I know a lot of times when we think subscribe, it costs something, but it doesn't. And it helps us so much because when you subscribe, we show up in more people's feeds. And when we show up in more people's feeds, we get to help more people have greater and better adventures in business. So if you can hit subscribe on the platform that you're watching or on YouTube, That will help us, but it also helps so many more people. The other fun thing is that when you hit subscribe, then our next episode automatically shows up in your feed and you don't have to search for us anymore. So, can you do us a solid? Hit subscribe and join our Adventures in Business movement. Thank you. Julie had a good question on what's one habit that has had the biggest impact on your visibility and business growth?
Habit. I would say, so, and it's funny we had this debate. I would say
We did have this debate.
consistent, but I'm not a fan of social media, but I would say just a consistent presence on social media, particularly LinkedIn and the other platforms. And even though you don't call yours a newsletter and I'm kind of falling off my newsletter or whatever, like just email communications, I think those are the two big things. I'm biased towards email communication, consistent email communication. And I think just a presence on social. Now, we've learned through the podcast how clips and shorts, particularly on YouTube, can really help. And I've adopted that and share that with my clients, and I'm a fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my kind of 3 ways of answering that question.
Yeah, I love that. Mine is very simple. Manage my mornings. As soon as I figured out how to manage my mornings, meaning the time I get up, RPM, rise, P, meditate, workout first thing in the morning, handwritten note, whatever that is, whatever that meditation is, sit down and have breakfast at a table instead of like rushing around, walking around, eating. As soon as I found a way to ground myself first thing when I wake up, the rest of my day, I am so focused, I am so paced, and I'm so much more productive just because of how I handle my mornings. It's the number one habit change that I made, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago that like changed everything for me. It really did. Changed my mood. It changed what kind of wife I was. It changed how I interacted, like when I would call my mom on walks. It changed how I am in business with my customers, with my clients. Like it changed everything. So managing mornings, big habit.
Do you have breakfast before or after your workout?
After.
Okay.
Sometimes, depending on when I've eaten the night before, sometimes before the workout, I'll have like a half a banana.
Okay.
But I can't normally eat before I work out. But like, I'm done eating by 7 every day. But sometimes I'm done eating by like 5. Like sometimes if I've had like a big meal and it's like 6:45, I'm like, I'm not going to eat again because I'm done at 7 no matter what. So if I haven't eaten since 5 the day before, I eat like a half a banana or something before my workout.
That's another thing I learned from you is to be done eating by 7.
Well, Jenny Perrin taught us
Yes,
that.
yes. That's another thing I learned from Jenny.
Perrin.
Yes.
Yeah,
Be done eating by 7 for sure.
Shift Life with Jenny. Everybody
Yes.
go follow Shift Life with Jenny.
Yeah, for sure. That one, I'm trying to figure out how to add more breakfast to my diet because I get a little, I want to say sleepy, but my energy gets a little bit low in the middle of the day, particularly if I'm like or I'm late with like getting a smoothie. So I want to figure out how to add in breakfast like breakfast during most days. So I need to figure that out. That's why I'm asking that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I eat a little bit before and then I eat, the actual breakfast after before I start the workday. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I have a final question for you. It's a heavy one, not a heavy one, but a broad one. So when you hear the word clips and the word context, what do you think? Like, what is your opinion on clips versus context? Are clips more important than context? Or context more important than clips? Or have you never thought about them as these parallel ideas before?
And clips like social media clips?
Well, take that and apply it. However whatever you think when I say it.
Context, like giving context to a certain situation or idea?
Take it and apply it. That's part of the question. That's part of the question.
When I hear clips, I think of social media clips.
Okay.
That's what I think of immediately. Kind of a shorter form than like clips from a TV show that we might watch or an interview, etc. Context is trying to give proper information on the situation or question so that the answer or the clip make sense. So you're not kind of like watching something random and have no idea what was before or after.
Yeah. What about decision making with clips versus context? How frequently are you making decisions on clips versus the full story with the context?
So clips will bring me in, but I want to read and learn more about it before I make a decision. So it'll
So
kind of,
you'll deep dive.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Now, if it's
Okay.
restaurants or something, maybe not, because you can go and try a restaurant and, so that didn't work or whatever. But
Yeah.
more in-depth and important decisions, absolutely.
Okay, so that's interesting. So the more important decision, you're more willing to do a deep dive. The lower the risk, you're like, clip's fine. Take the
Yeah,
risk. Yeah.
yeah. What's
Interesting.
your answer?
Well, it's just something I've been really thinking about lately. I was in a conversation with somebody I love a couple months ago, and this person was saying that they didn't like somebody. And I was like, well, is it because of like clips you saw online or? And this person said yes. And I was like, well, that's interesting because if you actually watched the long form video of this person, you would love this person. Like
Yeah,
this person is an awesome human being, but when you just look at the clips and you're making your decision off the clips, I feel like that's very short-sighted. Like it's not fair to the person, but it's also not fair to you because you're missing so
yeah,
much. And that was in the context of social media, but then it got me thinking deeper of like how many times in our life are we making decisions based on a clip of a person, like
hmm,
a first impression, somebody's shoes, what somebody is wearing, how we see two people interact. Like we're making these like decisions based on like 20, 30 seconds. When if you just like zoom out, like if we work for National Geographic and we're like zooming out a little bit more, and instead of that one person, we see like the whole picture, the whole context, we're just making better decisions in general. So it started with the social media thing, but then it just gotten me thinking about my behaviors of like, what's my decision making pattern? Is it always clips versus context? Is it always context versus clips? Is it a little bit of both? It's just something I've been marinating on lately. So I wanted to throw that out to you.
good. Okay, my final question. If we go back to July of 2022
Yes.
and we were starting the podcast over again,
Yes.
but everything we've learned in the last 4 years, what would you do differently? Or what advice would you
Oh.
give the two podcast hosts, Mandi and Amani?
I would give us a lot of advice, but the first thing is like, don't over prepare because when you interview somebody, like I really only come to the table with like 2 to 3 questions because you're going to have at least that, which I know you have way more. So even if we, in an hour, we only ask the guests 6 questions, that's a full hour.
Yeah.
But when I would come to the table too prepared before, I wasn't listening to what they were saying and I was missing out on some really good follow-up questions. Like these guests would drop nuggets of knowledge and I was so interested in going to the next question that I wasn't listening and I could have dove a little bit deeper into what they were saying because there's some interviews I listen to. I'm like, shit, Mandi, why didn't you ask that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that's just like how sales is too. Like when I'm working with sales teams or I'm like, don't get so bogged out in your own brain that you're like missing what your client's saying. Like your clients are giving you clues all the time, but you're just not listening. And it's a practice I have, but I had to like, that was a skill set I had to transfer to
Mhm.
interviewing people. Like, just listen, just don't be so prepared that you're missing out on the next great question, and don't be so prepared that you're literally not listening to what the
Mhm.
client's saying,
Yeah.
yeah, or the guest is saying. What about you? What advice would you give your younger podcast self?
Ha 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 ha. July 2022, I would strongly encourage us to really focus maybe even more on YouTube. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing I would really, really kind of dive into. Um, that's probably the main thing. I think everything else, just don't be afraid to fail fast with certain aspects of the podcast, which we learned. Um, and do more shows like this, actually more Ask Me Anythings and everything, because people, because of how what I've learned, because how recognizable we are, people want to hear from us and want to get to know us better, and get to know our subject matter expertise more too, for
Yeah,
sure.
behind the scenes. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
so too. Yeah, we've got to be better diligent about sharing that and
Yeah.
giving that information to people. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Any final questions? I think we're good.
I
It's
think we're good. This was a great
been
show. Thanks for
yeah.
everybody tuning in and everybody that submitted questions. Shannon, Norris from Olmsted
Yes.
Falls, and Dean and Loretta and Julie and
Julie.
Angela and
Yeah.
Carla and everybody. Thanks for submitting questions. This is great.
Thanks for submitting questions. Don't forget to recommend the podcast to a friend. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on the platform you're watching or listening on. We thank you for your attention for our Ask Us Anything. When's our next live show? Monday, right?
Monday. Yeah,
Monday
Monday,
at
July 6th.
1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. on the East. We'll have another live show. So see you then and enjoy
Happy
your
anniversary. Happy
happy
anniversary, Mani.
anniversary. Enjoy
Yeah.
the long weekend. And thanks for watching. See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.